Say Hey Kid has passed away. To me, this was so eerie. Tonight, Major League Baseball is honoring the historic Negro Leagues at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, a 114-year-old baseball stadium. That's where Willie Mays, as a 16-year-old, broke in, left high school with the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. He played there for 3 years as a part-time player on the weekends. He was a high school kid. Anyhow, he was supposed to be honored last night in Birmingham because he was one of the last remaining stars of the old Birmingham Black Barons. Unfortunately, he passed away from heart disease overnight in San Francisco. But isn't it eerie? Baseball's tribute was at this 114-year-old stadium where he made his baseball debut and he was supposed to be honored. What a phenomenal guy. I tried to come up with a description for Willie Mays, and amongst the words that it came up with were electrifying, explosive, dynamic, daring. I thought he was a cross between Henry Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, and Roberto Clemente. He did all those things. Raw speed, quick wrist, cannon arm, grace, daring, and a smile that you never, ever forgot. And now the burning question for you, because this guy accomplished so much in baseball with the New York Giants, with the San Francisco Giants, and he came back and finished up his career with the New York Mets. Greatest Giant of all time. And I know you're biased and I know you're prejudiced. And I know if you took your shirt off, there's a giant tattoo on your chest. Willie Mays, 660 home runs. Barry Bonds, 762 home runs. Willie Mays, 3,293 hits. Barry Bonds, unbelievable record of 3,300 hits. Willie Mays, 1,909 RBIs. Barry Bonds, 1,996 RBIs. Willie Mays, 339 stolen bases. Barry Bonds, 524 stolen bases. Career batting average, Willie Mays, 301. Barry Bonds, 298. So the burning question for you, John Riley, San Francisco Giant fan in the closet, greatest Giant of all time, was it Mays or was it Bonds? Now, I know it's different statistical eras, and with apologies in advance, I'm putting an asterisk next to Barry Bonds' name because of steroids that he used. That's why he's not on the Hall of Fame, and Willie Mays is. Who is the greatest Giant of all time?
Oh, Willie Mays. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, sure, Bonds could hit. I think Bonds won some batting titles, but Bonds couldn't play defense. I mean, remember in the NLCS when he tried to throw out Sid Bream sliding into home plate, and it was just a weak ass throw from left field
with a weak ass runner too.
Exactly.
Dragging his leg.
It's you got to get that guy out. So, even Barry Bonds was great. I mean, he was great before the steroids. I mean, the Giants fans still love him in spite of all the Balco nonsense. But Willie Mays is baseball royalty. I mean, he not only, was a great player, but he was there during all the racial strife in the 50s and 60s. He endured a lot of challenges in his life as he grew up, but just carried himself so well. I mean, Bonds was really kind of prickly to the media and to the fans, but Mays never.
Willie Mays handled the civil rights issue a lot different than the guy who just preceded him. Jackie Robinson wore it on his heart, on his sleeve, in your face. Mm-hmm. Willie Mays was not cut from that cloth. He was a very different, laid-back personality, yet he made strong statements about civil rights, but did not carry himself, conduct his business the way that Jackie Robinson did. And it may well be that Robinson was more bothered by how he was treated than Mays was bothered by the way Mays was treated. They were just very different in terms of their approach to things off the field. But man, you think of that era, and you got Say Hey, you got Hammer and Hank, mm-hmm. and you got the Mick, and then you got Bobby Clemente. Those are the four greatest guys in the outfield of modern day baseball, and I tend to think Willie was the more complete of all of them. Now, there's no doubt that Mantle was a tremendous slugger, and he could hit for average, but I don't think he was anywhere near the defensive player of Willie Mays. Henry Aaron was just a monster home run hitter. And then, obviously some of the others, Bobby Clemente was a complete ball player and a base stealer, etc. But Mays was a five-tool guy who did every one of the five tools to the peak limit.
Yeah, I mean, just a remarkable guy. I mean, in my man cave in the back, I've got like a poster of Willie Mays. I've had it there. It's the cover of the 1971 San Francisco Giants scorebook, which is cool. But, I'll tell you what, when I grew up in the Bay Area, I learned right away that Willie Mays is baseball royalty, even as like a 5 or a 6-year-old. And I remember going to Candlestick in 71, and it was bat day when they gave out the wooden bats, which is remarkable. They're like weapons in the stands, but it was a Willie Mays bat. And I remember it was signed by him, engraved. And I remember my mom saying, "Oh, you got to save that bat. That's very special." And it was a 27-inch bat. You really couldn't use it. I don't know where that bat is. I wish I still had it. But then remember the Giants traded him to the Mets. And I always thought it was because he wanted to go back to New York and kind of finish up his career with where he started. But I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Stoneham didn't want to pay him.
Probably so.
Mhm.
Probably so. Interesting story. So he goes as a 16, 17, and 18-year-old part-time weekend player, still in high school with the Birmingham Barons. The Giants sign him. They send him to start his first season in the minor leagues in Trenton, New Jersey. It's called the Interstate League. I think it was Class B. Racist situation.
Oh, yeah.
He got through that. Sent him to AAA, Minneapolis St. Paul. Played for the Minneapolis Millers, which was a Giants top farm club. He hit 467 as a 20-year-old. As a 20-year-old.
Wow.
So they call him up to the Polo Grounds, and he gets up there, and he can't hit. He went 1 for 26 to start. And Leo DeRocher found him sitting in the corner of the clubhouse after one game crying. Now, the one hit was a home run off Warren Spahn. It was the only hit he had. And Willie said, "I don't think I can play this game." He had never had that type of adversity. And Leo DeRocher looked at him and said, "Young man, you are my center fielder. Now go play." The rest is history. And Warren Spahn's joke was, "Geez, if I had not given up that home run, we might have been done with him forever. He might have gone back to Minneapolis and that would have been it." But think about that, 1 for 26. And then Leo DeRocher looked him in the eyes and said, "Son, you are my center fielder." So there we go. What a phenomenal person. And I thought about this the other night when you sent me the text, the bulletin that, Willie Mays, RIP. I thought about the guys from that era, all my heroes as a sports talk show host. I interviewed all those guys. I interviewed Willie Mays when he was here, when the Padres had the All-Star game. I think it was in 1995. Interviewed Henry Aaron. In the past, I had interviewed Mickey Mantle. I mean, all these legendary stars of that era. I did sports talk radio interviews on Extra 690, and he was quiet. He was reserved. I came up to him in the clubhouse after they were closing the clubhouse, and I said, "Could I steal you for 5 minutes?" And he looked at me and he said, "Yeah, come on." We walked down the hallway into a little alcove where nobody else would bother us because he was getting bombarded. And he did 10 minutes with me, and he talked about Jackie Robinson, and he talked about the Polo Grounds and Ebbets Field and Mickey Mantle and and obviously the catch against my Cleveland Indians 1954
Right,
World
Indians
Series.
guy.
So what a gentleman, what a cool guy. And to me, it's so eerie that he passes the week. They're just about to honor him with the Negro League honors tonight in Birmingham, Alabama. But what a great gentleman. So Fans Forum question. You're a Giant fan. You're a baseball fan. Jump into the Fans Forum chat box right now. Who do you think is the greatest Giant of all time? Is it Say Hey back then or Barry Bonds right now? Your baseball invitation to join us right now is out there. We go from that